Hello, my friends. I'm Clover, and this is Genuinely Approachable Sudoku. And today we're going to be solving Circular Saw by Philip Newman. This is a quadruple Sudoku. So we have standard Sudoku rules, so we're placing the digits 1 through 9 once each in each row, each column, and each outlined 3x3 region. And in addition to that, we have some quadruples clues in the grid. So that means that these white circles that have digits written in them tell you that those digits have to appear somewhere in the 4 cells immediately surrounding that circle. So for example, we have to have at least one 8 and at least one 9 in these 4 cells. We have to have a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4 in these 4 cells, and so on. So I'm going to start by pencil marking some of the groups of 4 cells that have 4 defined digits in them. That one's 2, 3, 4, 6. The first one is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 1, 2, 3, 9. That's 1, 2, 8, 9, etc. And that brings me to our first deduction, where we know that the 1 and 2 in columns 1 and 2 have to be somewhere in these cells, because there's a 1 and a 2 here, there's a 1 and a 2 here. So that accounts for the 1 and the 2 in these 2 columns. Therefore, these can't be 1 or 2. So these are going to be 1 or 2. Similarly, there's a 1 and a 9 in these 4 cells, so that already accounts for the 1 and the 9 in this region. So the 1 and 9 for this quadruples clue have to go right there. I'm also going to pencil mark these as 1, 7, 8, 9, and these as 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm going to do something very similar here. My 8 and 9 in these 2 rows at the bottom of the grid are accounted for by these 2 clues, so I can eliminate 8 and 9 here. And that's 8 and 9. And I need a 7 and an 8 for this clue. And they can't go in these cells because 7 and 8 are already used in this region, so these are going to be 7 and 8. And I also need a 5 here, and I need a 5 here. Here I need 4, 6, 7, and 8. Here I need 3, 4, 6, and 7. And so 4, 6, and 7 have to go in these cells, because I've already accounted for 4, 6, and 7 in the 2 rightmost columns from these 2 clues. So these guys are going to have to be 4, 6, and 7. That'll be a 4, and there. And now that leads me to realize something kind of interesting that I actually missed when I first looked at this, which is I should be able to get an additional digit out of each of these pairs of clues, and sure enough, I do get it here. So I have 7, 8, 9 here, I have 7, 8, 9 here. And that tells me that these digits have to not only be 8 and 9, but they actually have to be 7, 8, and 9. So I'm going to place a 7 right there. And these have 1, 2, and 9 in each of them. So 1, 2, and 9 in column 3 have to be there, there, and there. And now here I have 2, 3, and 4 in both of these. So 2, 3, and 4 can't go in any of these cells. They're already accounted for in those rows. Therefore, these 3 cells are 2, 3, and 4, so that's going to be a 3, 4 pair, and that's going to be a 2. Neat. Interesting break-in. And so these can't be 4 or 6 because they're already taken up in this region, so that's going to be a 4, 6 pair. These can't be 2 or 3 since they're already taken up in this region, so that's going to be a 2 and 3 pair. I'll have a 5 here and a 5 here, and the central digit is now going to be 5 because that's the only remaining position for a 5 in the central region. And then that's going to let me resolve my corner marked 5s around here, just like that. So now I'm going to work with some of these corner digits. So this guy here tells me that 9 can't be in these cells. I already know 9 can't be in these cells, so there's a 9 in one of these. So there's not a 9 there. This 2 tells me that there's a 2 in those cells. There's no 2 there. The 4 tells me there is a 4 in one of those cells. There's no 4 there. And the 7 tells me that there is a 7 in one of those cells, so there is no 7 right here. Okay. My 1, 2 pair eliminates 1s from right there. That gives me a 7, 8, 9 triple, which places a 6 and a 7 right here. My 8, 9 pair eliminates 8s from right there. That's a very elegantly designed puzzle, Philip. That gives me a 4, 6, 7 triple, which places a 3 and a 4 right there. My 6, 7 pair eliminates 6s there, so now I have a 2, 3, 4 triple. That's a 1 and a 2. And my 3, 4 eliminates 3s there. I have a 1, 2, 9 triple. That gives me an 8 and a 9, like so. Now I'm going to look at these rows and columns that are starting to fill up. So rows 3 and 4 and or rows 3 and 7 and columns 3 and 7. So in column 3, I still need 3, 4, 6, and 8. So 3, 4, 6, and 8. These can't be 3 because I already have 3 here. I noticed that there's only now one place I could put a 7 around this particular quad clue, so that's going to be my 7 and that's going to be my 8. And I know that one of these has to be a 6 to fulfill the 6 part of that quad, so 6 can't go down here. And also I can't have an 8 down here. So that's going to be a 3-4 pair, and this is going to be a 6-8 pair. And I bet I'm going to be able to basically repeat that as I move around the grid. So I have 1, 2, 3, and 6 here. That can't be 6. I need a 3 in these cells and also a 4. That gives me a 1, 2 pair over here. In this vertical column, I need a 1, 3, 8, and 9. That can't be 3. I need a 1 right here because of the 1, 2 clue. So that can't have a 1, so that's an 8, 9 pair. And this now has to be a 2 with a 3. And here I'm going to need 1, 6, 7, and 8. Those can't be 1s. Here I can't have a 6. I do have to have an 8 in order to fulfill this clue, so that can't be an 8. That's now a 6, 7 pair. That's a 1, 8 pair. And this has to be a 9, and that's a 1. Now this 3 gives me a 1 here. The 6 gives me a 3 here. This 8 gives me a 6 here. And the 1 gives me an 8 here. Now let's deal with the last 2 digits in each of these regions on the edges. So I still need a 7 and an 8 here, and that resolves because of the 6, 7 pair, and in turn that's going to resolve this. Here I'm going to need a, to finish off this region, I'm going to need a 2 and a 9. Oh, and also... Ooh, that's not a 7 and an 8, actually. I have an 8 in that region already. That's a 7 and a 9. Okay, so the 9 and a 7, an 8 and a 9. That makes a little bit more sense. 8 and a 1 here. 9 and a 7. In this region to finish off, I'm going to need a 2 and a 9. Apologies for that. That's going to finish off this quad. And this 8-9 pair is going to take care of it. And it's going to bounce back and take care of that 1-2. Here I need a 2 and a 4. There we go. And here I'm going to need a 4 and a 7. Just trying to keep everything organized here. So this 1 resolves this. The 8 resolves this. Here I'm going to need to eliminate 6 and 8 because I have those in the row already. That makes this a 6 and makes this an 8. And this is now resolved. This is resolved in turn. And to finish off this column, I'm going to need a 5, and this will be a 1 to finish the region. These are going to be 3 and 5, and these are going to be 5 and 6. And here I need 5 and 8. Those can't be 2s. That can't be a 6. I have a 3 in the column already. And that is how you solve Philip Newman's lovely circular saw. I feel like I had a little bit of a slow solve myself there. That was a very elegantly designed puzzle. Lots of interesting symmetry in the solve path itself. I really hope you enjoyed that one. If you want to check it out yourself, the link to do so is in the description below this video. And I will see you again in a couple of days.